Hello there. In this video I'll show you how to remove a black box from a car. A black box monitors your driving style, reports back to your insurance company, and if the insurer then concludes that you drive safely, it may be more inclined to offer you a cheaper policy in the future. This could be particularly beneficial if you've recently passed your test. However, when the time comes that you no longer need your little black box, it's easy enough to remove and all you need is a few basic tools. Welcome to CarSpyTV. Right, step one is to be absolutely sure that you can remove the black box without invalidating your car's insurance policy. And if you're not absolutely sure, I suggest you give the insurer a ring and double check. Next, of course, you need to find the black box, and there are a couple of places worth looking. The first is directly on the car's battery. The battery is most likely in the engine bay, but if you can't find it there, it may be in the boot beneath a carpeted panel. However, if the black box isn't on the battery, I'd look next behind the glove box, and in this video we'll cover its removal whether it's here or on the battery. It's also possible that the black box is somewhere entirely different, but in my experience that's less common. Now this particular car's battery is in the engine bay. I shall show you. Here it is, and look, there is the black box. So as we can see, it's about the shape and size of a mobile phone. It has wires coming out of it here, and this particular one has a flashing light just there to make it look extra fancy. And this one is very easy to spot indeed because it's sitting directly on top of the battery. Yours may be on the side though, perhaps down there, or even down here. But either way, if it's on the battery, it should be easy enough to spot. Now you know what you're looking for. Now the battery has two terminals, a negative and a positive, and the black box has a wire going to each of these two terminals, and both those wires need to be removed. So, if we follow the wires out of the black box, we can see that one of them stops here at the negative terminal. And we can tell this is the negative terminal because it has the negative symbol just down there at the end of my finger on the battery itself. So to remove this wire, what we need to do is loosen this nut here. Now I'm going to loosen this nut with a ratchet, but if you haven't got a ratchet, that's okay. An ordinary spanner will do just fine. And we don't want to completely undo the nut, just loosen it enough as it should be now, just to pull this wire out. There we go. Nice and simple. And of course now we need to just retighten that nut. And now we do exactly the same for the positive terminal. So once again, just follow the wires out from the back of the black box, and this time it goes all the way down the side of the battery here. And on this particular car, we have to open this little trap door here to see the positive terminal. There it is. And there's the wire we need to remove, and there's the nut we need to loosen in order to do so. And now, of course, I'll just retighten that nut. Okay, so the black box is now disconnected from the battery, but it is nonetheless still sitting on top of it. Now, this particular one, as you can see, it's on rather firmly. It's held in place by a strong, sticky pad. So I'm just going to pull that up. Here it comes. Oop. It's taken the sticker of the battery with it, but that's okay. There we go. That is now physically removed, more or less. Now yours may be held on by cable ties instead. If so, just snip them off with some pinchers or a pair of scissors, whatever you have to hand. And finally, we need to cut any cable ties which are still securing the wires to the car. Now, if you do this stage yourself, just be careful because, as is the case here, you may find that some of the cable ties go around part of the car's original wiring loom. So just be careful if you come in here with your pinchers not to accidentally nick the wrong thing. Now, as I said earlier, you may instead find the black box hidden behind the glove box of your car, in which case you may need to remove the glove box in order to get to this thing. Now, precisely how you remove the glove box, of course, is going to depend what type of car you got, so I can't be too precise, but nonetheless, I can give you a couple of examples that might point you in the right direction. Now, on this glove box, for example, there's a black pin just up here, which needs to be removed, and it just slides out. A little bit stiff today, but there we go. It slides out like so. And there's another one up there, which I've already removed. There's a closer look at those pins. And now they've been removed. It's incredibly simple. The glove box simply lifts out like so, and you can easily get behind it. This is example 2 in a different type of car, and this glove box is a little bit more complicated to remove, but still quite easy. What you need to do is undo that bolt. Where's it gone? There it is, up there, hiding from the camera. And there's a second bolt all the way over here. And just for luck, there are a couple of bolts low down as well, which again need to be undone. So those are the sorts of things to look out for if you want to remove your glove box. Anyway, once you've removed your glove box, have a good look underneath and find your little black box, which in our case is just up there. Now, just as I showed you earlier, your little black box could be held in place by cable ties, in which case snip them with some pinchers. Alternatively, it could be a little sticky pad. Either way, get it out of there. That's not quite so easy in this case because my hand's too big. But there we go. It's coming out now into the cabin. Now, the wiring behind the glove box may look a little more daunting than I showed you earlier on the car's battery, so you could just take the easy option, and there's nothing wrong with that. So you could simply remove this electrical connector from the bottom of the black box, just like so. There we are, and then the black box is free, and you can drop it down there. And then, of course, you can just pop a little piece of electrical tape over that connector, and then you can shove all the wiring back up behind the glove box and then just make sure it's not in the way of anything. So you just cable tie it out the way as required. Now, if you are tempted to completely remove the wiring from behind the glove box, well, of course it can be done, but what you're going to deal with under there, of course, depends how the system was installed, and there are different ways to do that. You may, for example, find the negative terminal simply held in place by a bolt that goes into something metal, in which case you can simply undo that bolt with your ratchet or a spanner. You may as well find that the positive is literally spliced into the car's wiring loom. You'd really just have to have a good look and see what's what, but really, is it worth making work for yourself when all you have to do is tuck these wires out the way behind the glove box? So there you go, that's how to remove a black box from a car. Now, before you go, don't forget to subscribe to CarSpyTV. That makes it easier to find my other videos. Do me a favour and click like on this video, and I'll see you next time, possibly removing something else you don't want from a car. See you later. Bye-bye.